Have you ever heard a sound so painful that it breaks something inside you? Before we begin this incredible true story, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to our channel. We love hearing from you, so tell us in the comments where you're watching from right now. The Collins mansion stood like a giant ice castle on the hill. It had 40 rooms, marble floors that shine like mirrors, and windows so tall they touched the ceiling. Crystal lights hung everywhere, sparkling like frozen tears. But all that beauty couldn't hide the sadness that filled every corner. Mrs. Rebecca Collins had died 3 weeks ago. Pneumonia took her so fast that nobody had time to say goodbye. One day she was laughing and playing with baby Emma. The next day, she was gone forever. Now the mansion felt like a museum. Everything was perfect and clean and dead quiet. The only sound that broke the silence was baby Emma's crying. And lately, that cry never stopped. Janelle Washington had worked as Emma's nanny for only 2 months before Mrs. Collins died. She was 28 years old, with kind brown eyes and gentle hands. When Mrs. Collins hired her, Janelle had smiled and promised to take good care of Emma. But inside, her heart was broken into a million pieces. 3 months before she came to work at the mansion, Janelle had given birth to her own baby boy. She had picked out his name, David. She had bought tiny blue clothes and a soft blanket. She had dreamed about his first smile, his first word, his first step. But David never came home from a hospital. He was born too early, too small, too fragile. He lived for only 2 hours. Janelle held him while his tiny heart stopped beating. Then the nurses took him away, and Janelle went home to an empty nursery. The doctors told her something strange. Even though David died, her body didn't know. Her milk came in anyway, as if David was still there waiting to be fed. For weeks, Janelle's body kept making milk for a baby who would never drink it. The pain was terrible, not just in her body but in her soul. She needed money desperately. The hospital bills were crushing her. So when she saw the job advertisement for a nanny, she applied even though it felt like torture. Taking care of someone else's baby when hers was gone seemed impossible. But she had no choice. Now, standing in Emma's nursery on this horrible afternoon, Janelle felt that same torture growing stronger every second. Emma was screaming, not just crying, but screaming like something was killing her. The baby's face was bright red. Her tiny fists punched the air. Her whole body shook with hunger and pain. "Please, sweet baby, please," Janelle whispered. Her hands were shaking as she held the bottle to Emma's mouth. "You have to eat, please." But Emma turned her head away. Again, just like she had done for 2 days now. She would scream and scream, but when Janelle tried to give her the bottle, she refused. Emma's little lips would clamp shut, or she would push the bottle away with her tongue. Janelle had tried everything. Different bottles, different formulas, warm milk, cool milk, holding Emma different ways, singing to her, rocking her, walking with her. Nothing worked. The doctor had come yesterday. He said Emma was getting dehydrated. He said if she didn't eat soon, she would have to go to the hospital. He gave Janelle special formula and special bottles. But Emma refused those too. Mr. Nathan Collins, Emma's father, hadn't been home in 3 days. After his wife died, he threw himself into work like a drowning man grabbing for air. He left early in the morning before Emma woke up. He came home late at night after she was asleep. He couldn't look at his daughter without seeing his dead wife's eyes staring back at him. So he just didn't look. The other staff members tried to help, but they didn't know what to do. The cook made special formula. The housekeeper brought warm blankets. But nobody could make Emma eat. Now it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Janelle was alone with the screaming baby. Emma hadn't eaten anything since yesterday morning. Her diaper was dry because there was nothing in her body to come out. Her lips looked pale and cracked. "Oh, God," Janelle whispered, tears running down her face. "Oh, God, please help me. I can't let another baby die. I can't." Emma's screams got weaker. That was even scarier than the loud screams. It meant she was running out of energy, running out of life. Janelle held Emma against her chest, and something strange happened. Emma stopped screaming for just a second. She turned her tiny head toward Janelle's chest. Her little mouth opened and closed, searching. Janelle's heart stopped. She knew what Emma was looking for. The same thing David had looked for in those 2 precious hours before he died. The same thing every baby in the world knows how to find. "No," Janelle said out loud. "I can't. That's crazy. That's wrong. Mr. Collins would fire me. He would think I'm insane." But Emma started screaming again, weaker this time. Her tiny body was so hot with fever. Her eyes looked glassy and unfocused. Janelle remembered David's face turning blue. She remembered the doctor saying, "I'm sorry, but he's gone." She remembered the empty feeling of her arms after they took him away. "I'm not losing you," Janelle whispered to Emma. "I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting you die." Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely move. She looked at the closed nursery door. Mr. Collins was at work. The other staff members were downstairs. Nobody would come up here for hours. Janelle sat down in the rocking chair. She held Emma close. Then she unbuttoned her uniform with trembling fingers. "Forgive me," she whispered. She didn't know if she was talking to God, to Mr. Collins, to Mrs. Collins's ghost, or to her own dead son. "Forgive me, but I have to save her." Emma found what she was looking for immediately. Her little mouth latched on, and suddenly the screaming stopped. The nursery became quiet for the first time in days. Emma's tiny hand rested against Janelle's skin. Her eyes closed in relief. Janelle started crying. Not sad crying, but something bigger and more complicated. Relief that Emma was finally eating. Grief for David, who never got enough time. Fear of what would happen when someone found out. And something else, something she couldn't name. A feeling of rightness, like this moment was always supposed to happen. "That's it, baby girl," Janelle whispered, rocking slowly. "That's it. You're going to be okay now. I promise you're going to be okay." The afternoon sun came through the window, making golden patterns on the floor. The mansion was quiet except for the soft sound of the rocking chair and Emma's gentle breathing. Janelle closed her eyes and prayed that this moment could last forever. She prayed that nobody would walk through that door. She prayed that she had made the right choice. But prayers don't always get answered the way you want. Downstairs, the front door opened. Mr. Nathan Collins had come home early for the first time in 3 weeks, and he was walking toward the nursery. Nathan Collins walked through his mansion like a ghost walking through a graveyard. Everything reminded him of Rebecca, the piano she used to play, the flowers she loved, the photographs on every table showing her smile. He had left work early because something felt wrong. All day he couldn't focus. He kept thinking about Emma. When was the last time he actually looked at his daughter? Really looked at her? 3 days ago? For days? A week? Shame burned in his chest. What kind of father was he? Rebecca would be so disappointed in him. But every time he tried to go near Emma, the pain became too much. Emma had Rebecca's eyes, Rebecca's nose, Rebecca's tiny chin. Looking at Emma was like looking at a ghost. His assistant had called him twice today, saying Janelle had phoned the office looking for him. But Nathan hadn't called back. He told himself he was too busy. The truth was, he was too scared. What if something was wrong with Emma? What if he had to make decisions? What if he failed? Now, walking through the quiet mansion, Nathan heard something that made him stop breathing. Silence. Complete and total silence. For 3 weeks, Emma had cried almost nonstop. The sound had filled every corner of the mansion like smoke. Even when Nathan was locked in his office on the 3rd floor, he could hear her. The cry had become like background music, terrible and constant. But now nothing. The silence felt heavy and wrong. Nathan's heart started pounding. Was Emma okay? Had something happened? He took the stairs 2 at a time, his expensive shoes slapping against the marble. "Janelle," he called out. His voice echoed in the empty hallway. "Janelle, is everything all right?" No answer. Just that terrible silence. He reached the nursery door. It was closed. He grabbed the handle and pushed it open fast, ready for the worst. What he saw made him freeze like someone had poured ice water down his back. Janelle sat in the rocking chair by the window. Afternoon sunlight made her dark skin glow like gold. Her uniform was unbuttoned, and Emma, his tiny daughter Emma, was pressed against Janelle's chest, feeding. For 3 long seconds, Nathan couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even think. His brain couldn't understand what his eyes were seeing. Then everything inside him exploded. "What are you doing?" His voice came out like thunder, so loud that it shook the windows. Janelle's eyes flew open. The peaceful look on her face disappeared, replaced by pure terror. She jumped to her feet, so fast she almost dropped Emma. Her hand scrambled to button her uniform while trying to hold the baby at the same time. "Mr. Collins, I can explain. Please let me explain," she said. Her voice was shaking. Tears were already running down her face. "Explain." Nathan's voice got even louder. He felt like his head was going to explode. "Explain what? Why you're doing something so inappropriate, so completely insane. What were you thinking? How dare you? How dare you?" Emma started crying, frightened by the loud voices. Janelle held her close, tried to comfort her, while backing away from Nathan like he was a wild animal about to attack. "Give me my daughter," Nathan demanded, holding out his arms. "Give her to me right now." "Mr. Collins, please, just listen for 1 minute." "Now!" Janelle's whole body was shaking, but she didn't hand Emma over. Instead, she did something that surprised both of them. She stood up straight, lifted her chin, and spoke clearly despite her tears. "No, sir, not until you calm down. You're scaring her." Nathan stared at Janelle like she had just slapped him across the face. Nobody said no to him. Nobody. He was Nathan Collins. He owned 3 companies. He had $1 billion in the bank. People jumped when he spoke. And this nanny, this employee, was refusing to obey him? "How dare you tell me what to do with my own child?" he said. His voice was quieter now, but somehow more dangerous. "You're fired. Give me Emma and get out of my house." "I'll leave," Janelle said. More tears ran down her face, but her voice stayed strong. "I'll pack my things and go. But first, you need to know why I did what I did. You need to know that I saved her life." "Saved her life?" Nathan laughed, but it was a bitter, angry sound. "By doing something completely inappropriate? By crossing every boundary? You're insane. Your daughter was dying," Janelle said. The words came out like bullets. Sharp, hard, true. For 2 days, she refused every bottle. Nothing worked. The doctor said she was getting dehydrated. She was screaming herself to death. And you weren't here. You haven't been here for 3 weeks. Nathan felt like she had punched him in the stomach. "That's not fair. I've been working. I have responsibilities." "So do I," Janelle interrupted. "My responsibility is to keep him alive. And today, keeping her alive meant doing something that scared me more than anything I've ever done. There were other options. You could have called the doctor again, taken her to the hospital. I called your office 6 times today. Nobody knew where you were. The doctor already came yesterday and said to try for 1 more day before the hospital. But Emma was getting worse every hour. Her lips were cracked. Her skin was hot. Her eyes looked wrong. I've seen that look before, Mr. Collins. I've seen it on a baby's face right before he died." Something in her voice made Nathan stop. Really stop. He looked at Janelle. Actually looked at her for the first time since he had burst into the room. She wasn't just crying. She was shaking all over like she might fall apart. "What do you mean?" he asked quietly. Janelle took a deep breath. 3 months ago, I had a baby. A son. His name was David. He was born too early. He lived for 2 hours, and then he died in my arms. The anger drained out of Nathan like someone had pulled a plug. He sat down heavily on the edge of Emma's crib. "I didn't know. Your resume didn't say anything about..." "Because I didn't want anyone's pity," Janelle said. "I needed a job. I needed to pay my bills. I needed to keep living even though my baby was dead. So I came here and took care of your daughter, even though every single day it felt like someone was stabbing me in the heart." Nathan put his head in his hands. He felt sick. "My milk came in after David died," Janelle continued. Her voice was softer now. My body didn't know he was gone. For weeks, I was in pain, producing milk for a baby who would never drink it. I was going to stop it with medication. But then Emma started refusing bottles, and I realized that maybe there was a reason. Maybe I could help her. So you just decided to do this without asking me? You weren't here to ask, Janelle said simply. And Emma was dying. I had to make a choice. Let her starve, or do something that might get me fired but would definitely save her life. So I chose her life. I chose your daughter's life over my job, over my reputation, over everything. The room got quiet. Emma had stopped crying. She was sleeping peacefully in Janelle's arms, her little face relaxed and calm for the first time in days. Nathan looked at his daughter, really looked at her. Her cheeks had more color than they'd had in weeks. Her breathing was steady and peaceful. She looked healthy. She looked alive. Why? He finally asked. His voice cracked. Why would you risk everything for a child who isn't even yours? Janelle smiled sadly. Because I couldn't save David, but I could save Emma. And because someone needs to love her when you can't find the strength to do it yourself. The truth of her words hit Nathan like a truck. He started crying, something he hadn't done since Rebecca's funeral. Big, ugly sobs that shook his whole body. I'm a terrible father, he whispered. Rebecca would hate me. I can't even look at Emma without falling apart. Then you need to learn, Janelle said gently. Because she needs you. She needs her father. Not your money. Not this big house. She needs you. Nathan wiped his eyes. He stood up and walked slowly toward Janelle. She tensed, unsure what he would do. But Nathan just reached out and gently touched Emma's tiny hand. I'm sorry, he said, to both of you. I'm so sorry. The next morning, sunlight poured through the nursery windows like liquid gold. For the first time in 3 weeks, the mansion felt alive. Emma lay in her crib, cooing and kicking her little legs. Her cheeks were pink and healthy. Her eyes were bright and curious. She looked like a completely different baby from the sick, screaming child of yesterday. Nathan sat in the rocking chair, just watching her. He had been there for 2 hours, unable to look away. Every time Emma smiled, his heart broke and healed at the same time. He had stayed up all night thinking about Rebecca, thinking about Emma, thinking about Janelle and her dead son David, thinking about what kind of man he had become after his wife died. The truth was ugly and painful. He had abandoned his daughter when she needed him most. He had hidden behind work and money and grief, pretending that not looking at the problem meant it didn't exist. He had been so afraid of the pain that he had stopped being a father. But yesterday, watching Emma nearly die because of his absence, something inside him had cracked open. The wall around his heart had started to crumble. There was a soft knock on the door. Janelle stood in the doorway, her bag packed, ready to leave. I came to say goodbye, she said quietly, and to check on Emma one last time. Nathan stood up quickly. No, don't go. Janelle looked confused. But you fired me yesterday. You said, I was wrong. The words felt strange coming out his mouth. Nathan Collins didn't say he was wrong very often. About everything. Please, sit down. We need to talk. Janelle hesitated, then slowly walked into the room and sat on the edge of the chair. She kept her bag on her lap, like she might need to run away at any moment. Nathan took a deep breath. I spent all night thinking about what you said, about how Emma needs me, about how I've been hiding. You were right, about all of it. Mr. Collins. Nathan, he interrupted. Please, after what we've been through, I think we can use first names. Janelle nodded slowly. I want to tell you something, Nathan continued. Something I haven't told anyone. The night Rebecca died, I was working late. She called me and asked me to come home early. She said she didn't feel well. I told her I would, but then I got busy with a meeting. By the time I got home, she was unconscious. The ambulance came, but it was too late. His voice broke. Tears ran down his face. I keep thinking, if I had just come home when she asked, maybe the doctors could have saved her. Maybe Emma would still have her mother. It's my fault Rebecca died, and I can't forgive myself. Janelle reached out and took his hand. It's not your fault. Pneumonia moves fast sometimes. Even if you had been there, she might have died anyway. You can't carry that guilt forever. But I can't let go, Nathan whispered. Every time I look at Emma, I see Rebecca. I see what I lost. It hurts so much that I can't breathe. I know, Janelle said softly. After David died, I couldn't go into his nursery for weeks. I couldn't look at his pictures. I couldn't say his name out loud. The pain felt like it would kill me. But you know what I learned? What? That love is worth the pain. Yes, it hurts to remember David. It will hurt for the rest of my life. But I wouldn't trade those 2 hours I had with him for anything in the world. The love was real. The love matters. And Emma's love is just as real, just as important. Nathan looked at his daughter, sleeping peacefully in her crib. I'm scared I'll fail her. I don't know how to be a single father. I don't know how to do this alone. You're not alone, Janelle said. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Let me help. Let me stay. Nathan looked at her with surprise. After everything I said yesterday, after I yelled at you and accused you of terrible things, you were scared and grieving, Janelle said. People say things they don't mean when they're in pain. I understand that. And besides, Emma needs me. We both know that now. I can't ask you to stay after. You're not asking. I'm offering. Emma saved me, Nathan. Taking care of her gives my life purpose again. When I feed her, when I hold her, I feel like maybe David's death wasn't completely meaningless. Maybe I was supposed to lose him, so I could be here to save her. Maybe that's how God works sometimes. Nathan felt fresh tears coming. I don't deserve your kindness. It's not about deserving. It's about doing what's right. And what's right is for me to stay and help you raise this beautiful girl. They sat in silence for a long moment, both looking at Emma. I need to make some changes, Nathan finally said. Big changes. I'm going to start working from home most days. I'm going to be here for Emma. Really here, not just physically present, but emotionally absent. That's good, Janelle said. And I want to change your position. Not just nanny. I want you to be Emma's godmother, part of our family. You save her life, Janelle. That means something. That means everything. Janelle's eyes filled with tears. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll stay and help me figure out how to be a good father. Say you'll be here when I fail, because I know I will fail sometimes. Say you'll love Emma like she's your own. I already do, Janelle whispered. From the moment I first held her, I loved her. Nathan stood up and pulled Janelle into a hug. They stood there crying together, two broken people helping each other heal. Over the next few weeks, the mansion transformed. Nathan kept his promise. He worked from home, taking breaks every few hours to check on Emma. He learned how to change diapers and give baths. He sang lullabies in a terrible voice that made Janelle laugh. He was clumsy and scared and made lots of mistakes. But he was there. He was present. He was trying. Janelle stayed in the nursery most days, caring for Emma with a gentle love that made everyone in the house smile. She fed Emma when needed, though Nathan made sure to give bottles too, so Emma learned to eat both ways. The other staff members, who had watched the drama unfold, treated Janelle with new respect. She wasn't just a nanny anymore. She was family. One evening, 3 months after that terrible afternoon, Nathan found Janelle in the nursery rocking Emma to sleep. He stood in the doorway watching them, and his heart felt full instead of empty for the first time since Rebecca died. You know what Rebecca would say if she could see us now? He asked softly. Janelle looked up and smiled. What? She would say thank you. Thank you for saving our daughter. Thank you for saving me. I think she would say we save each other, Janelle replied. Nathan walked over and kissed Emma's forehead. The baby girl opened her eyes and smiled at her father, a huge toothless grin that made him laugh. I love you, baby girl, he whispered, and I promise I'll never leave you again. Emma grabbed his finger with her tiny hand and held on tight. That night, the mansion wasn't silent anymore. It was filled with the sounds of life. Emma's laughter, Nathan's voice reading bedtime stories. Janelle humming softly. The sound of a family that had been broken, but was slowly becoming whole again. Sometimes healing doesn't look the way you expect. Sometimes it comes from the most surprising places. Sometimes the person you think you're saving is actually the one who saves you. Janelle had lost David, but she had found Emma. Nathan had lost Rebecca, but he had found himself again. And Emma had gained not just a father who was finally present, but a second mother who loved her with the fierce devotion of someone who knew exactly how precious and fragile life could be. The mansion on the hill wasn't cold anymore. It was warm. It was alive. It was home. And in that home, 3 people who had been drowning in grief learned to swim together, holding each other up when the waves got too strong, reminding each other that love, real love, is stronger than loss. Emma grew up knowing she was loved by 2 people who would do anything for her. Nathan grew into the father he was always meant to be. And Janelle found peace, knowing that David's short life had led her to exactly where she needed to be. Some stories don't have perfect endings, but this one had something better. It had hope. It had healing. It had love that conquered fear and pride and pain. And that, in the end, was more than enough. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear about the power of compassion and second chances. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories that will inspire you. We love hearing from you, so tell us in the comments where you're watching from and how this story made you feel. Your support means everything to us. Thank you for watching.